Well met, everyone. I am Rich the Lich, and today I'm going to put a poll up on screen. This is more of an interactive video. It's going to be pretty quick and short. I want to just talk you through a couple of aspects from both sides of the DM screen. I want to present a question to you from the player PC side and then from the Dungeon Master side. So as a player, and I'll put it up on screen right here, of all of these classes, which class are you most fond of? Which is the class type that you tend to play the most, that you have the most enjoyment playing? You can tell me some stories if you'd like and elaborate on it in the comment section, and I'd love to see as much interaction as possible. I'm trying to get to know my audience a little bit. You can tell me some stories as to maybe a specific character that you had the most fun with, even though they may not have typically been the type that you're most attached to. But in general, what is the class of these on screen? And if there isn't one on screen, but there was a different class from some other edition or another role-playing game perhaps, yes, I am talking right now a little more 5th edition, but I feel like when you kind of are really attached to a certain character type, that fits across all media. I've always been a blue Magic the Gathering player. I like that control element and the spells that come about through the blue cards. Okay, and therefore in video games, whenever there's any sort of class that has a really large and elaborate involved spell list, I generally lean towards that type of class. I respect and I appreciate melee, and I love the barbarian and Diablo and so on and so forth, but I'm always a very wizard-centric type of person. That's what I enjoy playing the most. Now, if you want to delineate and sort of say between why you like the wizard more than the sorcerer, more than the warlock, that's fine. But if you want to kind of keep it a little more broad and say, I just like castery types more than I like melee types, that's fine as well. But I'd love to just see your input and your thoughts. As I said, my vote is always to the wizard. It's more towards the control element of the wizard. So whether we're talking abjuration or divination, as they are in specializations in 5th edition versus evocation, I'm not choosing the wizard because I want to just deal magic damage and fireballs. I love them and I respect lightnings and all those sort of effects, but I'm a lot more, I think my mind and my rambly nature is one day to the next within gameplay. I don't know what spells might work best with the group, what encounter we're going up against, what environment we're going into. And I like the utility aspect of that. I like the availability of an entire spell book where I can kind of take a long rest and think through the night in character, right? And basically come to the table when we wake up in the morning and say, I feel like I'm better prepared for this. I don't want to just pigeonhole myself and say, I'm really good at this one thing. I like to have that variety and those options. And I love sort of wrangling through the spell book and figuring out. And also I enjoy the negative side of that, where if I chose the wrong, oh, damn it, I should have chose this spell. I didn't think we would need this spell going into this dungeon and so on. So I'm not trying to metagame anything. I just like to have that option and the utility of that a wizard provides. So that's always been my favorite. Now, from the other side of the screen, here's another list. As a dungeon master, or perhaps if you are never going to be a dungeon master, or you never have been, but just from a player's perspective, what's the monster as a DM that you enjoy using the most, that you've had the most fun bringing to the table? Or from the player's perspective in this regard, as I said, if you're never a DM or you never have been one, what's the monster that you're more fearful of? Like, what's the one that, oh my gosh, he's bringing this to the table, I don't want to see it. Yes, you can always have the iconics, the mind flayers and the beholders and the dragons and things like this. And I'll put up this list here, but if there's something else that's not on the list, go ahead and put in the comments what that favorite is for you. For me, it's always been giants of all types, fire, frost, so on and so forth. I get it. I get them. I've always loved them in all the various media. I love the Game of Thrones take on the giants and how they, interpreted and put that on screen. What is it, Jack and the Giant Beanstalk or whatever the hell it is? That movie I thought did a really good job with giants. I just love that. Maybe it's because I'm into the physicality, lifting weights, and I'm not a very tall person, but I'm pretty broad-shouldered, and, I've always been enamored with Arnold and just the bodybuilder aspect of it. So I like Hulk. And I just love that juggernaut, over the top. I'm not real big on the real skulking, and I understand the value of that. And I've had some insanely powerful boss fights and encounters where I've killed people with like Zenorum rogues and stuff like this, where it's all sneaky and backstabby and, the Skaven from Warhammer, right? I like that stuff as well, but I'm a big giant guy. So what is your, either as a DM, what's your sort of favorite monster that you like to bring to the table? And not the one that you always feel like is the most lethal, or the one that's going to cause the most hesitation, in conflict from your players, but just the one that you get most excited about, the one that you enjoy playing the most as a DM. Or, as I said, from the player's perspective, what's the one that you hate seeing your DM bring to the table? So I'd like to see your thoughts and your input on this. That's all I have for you folks today. Thanks everyone for watching, and take care.